Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So we are continuing along with the witchy wedding planning. Today I wanted to talk about choosing your wedding colors. So I'm not going to go into like the specific shades of colors, like light blue versus dark blue having different corresponding meanings and stuff. We're just kind of going with like blue and then from there go forth. And these are just kind of generic meanings for it. Obviously you're going to have different mileage as you've worked with colors in your life. So red might mean something different to you than it does to somebody else. So we're just kind of going with like the general meanings of stuff. And yeah, let's just jump in. So the point of choosing your wedding colors, by the way, is that it makes your theming and just like overall planning so much easier. So pick like, most people tend to pick 3 main colors. So you typically are going to use either white or black as kind of your base. A lot of more traditional weddings, you're going to have the white dress, a lot of white flowers, a lot of white decor, because white is typically associated with weddings, and then you'll have 2 supporting colors. Choosing your colors, it has a lot of things that will be associated with it, like what color your bridesmaids or groomsmen might be wearing, stuff like that. Like it all kind of ties into your color scheme, and if you put magical intent behind it, just making it even more witchy. So, mentioned this one, but let's start off with white. So white is a great color for new beginnings. Obviously your marriage is going to be a new beginning for you. You're starting a married life. It's also good to use for manifesting, and again, manifesting towards that new life together. It also represents the feminine, the goddess, so typically this would be the bridal color, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. It's also good for cleansing, so taking away the old and bringing in the new, kind of again with that new beginnings energy. Then we have the color purple. So purple is typically associated with like spirituality and the craft. So if you're wanting a subtle way to include your craft into your wedding, this is just a great way to just kind of slip it in without people really noticing. For me, it's a very comforting color. Like when I see the color purple, I feel better. And so for me, like it's a great way to just like casually just like catches your eye, and like depending on what experiences you've had with colors, some colors will trigger certain emotions. So for me, when I see the color purple, I am typically more calm and more soothed. Other people, it might be blue that does that for them, or red. Because some people will have like red bedrooms, and for them, they walk in and it's like a comforting color. So like your mileage may vary, but for me, it's a very comforting color. And obviously it's going to be a stressful day, so I need whatever little bits of comfort I can get. It's also the color for romance, and it's associated with wisdom. You're going to want to be wise going into your marriage. Then we have the color blue. This one is often represented with emotions, so you could kind of harness this energy for like having stable emotions, because it is really not fun to like be up at the altar sobbing because you're like, oh my god, overwhelmed with all of the feels. Just using that color to kind of calm things down. Kind of going along with that, it's calming energy. Kind of those two went hand in hand. It also is a color to represent freedom. So in a wedding sense, this could be a color to encourage you to still be individuals even as you're going into your partnership. It's also a color for sensitivity. You want to have that in your relationship. It's also good for sincerity and communication, and also for loyalty. The next color is green. Obviously, green is great for fertility, especially if you are wanting to have a family. This would be a great energy to kind of bring that in. As well as abundance and prosperity. Everybody can use a little bit more abundance and prosperity. It also represents new beginnings. It also can represent nature, and again, this is just kind of a subtle way of bringing in the craft. For us, we're having a lot of greenery, and so like that just made sense to have that part of our color scheme, because like our venue is an indoor garden, so it's going to be a lot of green. And so it's just one way that we're incorporating kind of more of the nature side into our wedding. And also for stability. The next color is yellow. This color is often associated with the masculine or male energy, and so this might, you know, represent the god if you have like an altar set up, or you could also include it for like the groom's colors. It also represents happiness and friendship, traits you probably want in a marriage. Next is the color orange. So I don't know if other books have this, but for me, orange is the color of the home. So with it representing the home, for me, that just means like home is where the heart is, and that's what your marriage is. It's also a color for happiness and enthusiasm, things you're gonna want in a relationship. It's also for success and determination. You can't have weddings without the color red. Typically, you think weddings, you're gonna think of red roses specifically. Red is associated with passion and love, devotion and romance. All these things that are just like typically a wedding. Next, this one's not as common in more traditional weddings, whether it's witchy or secular, everything in between. Like, typically, black is not the color you'd think of for a wedding, but a lot of people include it nowadays. This is a really great color for protection. It's also great for shielding. It also is linked to new beginnings as well, because like the new moon and stuff, so like, you know, Get rid of the old, bring in the new. And again, black is just a witchy color. It's just naturally gonna give off that kind of vibe. So like if you're fine having a little bit more out of the closet of a, you know, wedding, it's beautiful. If you haven't ever seen like some of the Halloween photos, just like go look it up on like Pinterest. Oh, they're beautiful. Next is brown. This color is great for bringing in stability. Again, also new beginnings, kind of focusing more on like the new soil for like the seeds of your new life to grow. It's also a neutral color, so it just brings in balance. It's also great for resilience and also for dependability, something you definitely want in your partner. And the last color is gray. This is another balanced color. It's the bringing of the goddess and the god together and just all energies just kind of mingling, again, that gray area. It's also a good color for compromise, something you're gonna have to do in a marriage, and also a great color for wisdom. So I hope this list has been helpful. Again, this is not all of the colors and definitely not all of the shades. There's some that I didn't include, but you could totally research on your own and see how they work for you. These are just kind of traditional-ish wedding colors. I've seen these pop up in wedding groups, so I just kind of had been stalking for a while of like, what colors typically pop up? And these were the main ones that seemed to, you know, kind of happen. And again, not the specific shades. But I hope this has given you some ideas for choosing some colors for your weddings. I would love to hear whether you got married or you're planning your wedding. What colors did you choose or you're going to use for your wedding? Leave it in the comments down below. Of course, if you would like to support the channel, I do have a Patreon. You can find the name for it here. Thank you so much for watching. Do make sure to like, comment, and subscribe here on the channel. That way you never miss an upload. I do post every single day. And until next time, thank you so much for watching, and blessed be.